Hi guys, Sifu Mark here, and we're with another edition of Chats. And today we're reaching all the way across the pond to speak with my guest who has over 35 years experience in the fighting and healing arts of the Shaolin and Wudang. He has been spreading his message of connectivity to all through his teachings. He is a Qigong coach, a Tai Chi teacher, and the headmaster of the Shundao School, just to name a few of the things that he does. Notable for making the word Sifu synonymous with guide. He has helped numerous people to reduce stress, anxiety, and pain. Please welcome from the grounds of Setcop's Farms in England, Mr. Paul Bryson, affectionately known as Sifu Boggie. How are you today, sir?
I am well, sir. I am good. It's actually now 41 years. Because I started when I was I sort of started when I was 11, but like 12. So yeah, it's 41 years now. But but I don't always remember to re-update my bios. So that's my bad. So, but yes.
No problem, no problem. It's good to see you. You seem in good spirits, sir. That's good, always good to see. I'm just going to ask you a couple questions. First being, how did you start in the martial arts?
Right, so I was bullied as a kid, picked on just for like being different. I just always had a different perspective to the world. Always trying to be love and light, and I didn't know then. But like now, I've been diagnosed with dyslexia and a slight bit of autism and dyspraxic, which made me different. And so I was picked on a lot. And my parents found the local martial arts school to send me to, and it was actually called Katida. I think it's called Kixer now. It changed its name about 20 years ago, but originally it was called Katida, and it was a very basic martial art. It only had 25 moves, but it had a big thing about meditation, and I loved meditation. I always already went off with the fairies, and did my own imagination of drawings. And as I was going through the belts, very quickly, like I said, that was about 11 years old, and about 12, they had adjudicators coming, and they had adjudicator. He was sort of, basically, he would look for students. That's what he adjudicated, but in actual fact, he was looking for people, and he sort of recognized that I was very good at the meditation side, and that was my thing. And he talked to my parents, and very, very quickly I was actually learning under him. And I did the Katina for a little bit longer, but I actually started learning under him. And his belief was very corny, or at least in the 80s, it sounded awesome. But he would say, before you can learn to kill, you must learn to heal. So he taught meditation, he taught healing arts, but he also taught that everything actually connects to everything else. So like massage is actually in martial arts is grappling, is Qi, it's grappling holds and strikes. Acupressure, acupuncture is Demok, death touch. Everything actually is something else. And so he very much, and in actual fact, that was like when I was 12. When I was 16, I went to be a baker. And his brother, there was two brothers, and the other Sifu Po said, "Oh, excellent! Bakers make great masseuses, make great healers." So and their idea was that everything's interconnected, but within the Taoist concept is you have the martial, and in Chinese martial arts you have the martial arts, the meditational art or spiritual consciousness, and the medical art. And they were very much that those three are interconnected. So everything I learned had a fighting side, a healing side, and a meditational conscious side. So my fighting arts continued, and I did close protection, and I did many different things. And my teachers were very much into putting me into situations, fighting wise, they put me into situations where I had a 1% chance of winning. Now, for a lot of people, this is like, they always want you to lose. But my teachers in Taoism, you invest in loss. That through hard things, you actually learn how to win. If you're competing against people that you're going to really win, you don't learn much. But you learn from the losses. You learn from trying to figure out how to beat the hard people. So my teachers, especially in when I went into the East, I went to the martial art competitions in the East, where it was very much in China, Japan, Thailand. It was knock them out of the ring or knock them out. No points, no prize. It was knock them out or knock them out of the ring. When I did those competitions, I learned how to defend myself. I learned how to think in a fighting situation, because in close protection, it is about you might have to take a hit. You might even have to be stabbed, because your goal is to protect somebody else. So it was learning to actually, for real, not so much winning for points or winning to win. It was about how to get through this situation and still be standing at the end, or still make it through. So there was very much that fighting side, which was taught to me, but also equally was taught the medical self-healing and the spiritual side, because they were both Shaolin trained, but also they were Taoist trained. Taoist is very esoteric, and it's very much about self-healing as well as about fighting. That might have answered your question. I'm not sure.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. But I do have to ask: is there a specific martial art in the Shaolin tradition that you studied apart from kicksa?
Kicksa was I did some judo, aikido, taekwondo, but then on the Shaolin side, drunken style was one of my favorites. Tonglong praying mantis, which is also one of my favorites, and then tiger and dragon were the main ones I picked up a lot from. The drunken style is a very unique, interesting style, because it always has you on the edge. It's always of your own balance. You learn how to balance, and I was very clumsy through my dyslexia and dyspraxia. I'm naturally clumsy, so a little bit like Charlie Chaplin or Jackie Chan, like the fighting style of Jackie Chan. So I seemed quite clumsy, but the whole idea is that from that I learned techniques and styles. And in the Shun system, they do have a fighting system. The word Shun means, it's Chinese, means it was their surname, but it also has a meaning. And the meaning was to fold or flow. And then Dao is obviously the way, so it's the folding or flowing way. So in fighting style, it was a lot of Qi Na, it was a lot of Tai Chi, with a lot of Ba Kwa, which is like walking the circle. And so the whole idea is that you always you either fold around the opponent or you fold the opponent. You're bringing them in and drawing them into, like with the Tonglong, nerve strikes or whatnot, or you're going round them to then be near the back. But also, like I said, a little bit corny with my teachers, is that if you break somebody, you have to learn how to fix them. So it was my goal to learn that, I know that how you heal this and how you heal that. But there's an interesting thing with healing, is then you also then can recognize when somebody's faking or hiding an injury, or so that whole idea is, for me, again, everything is interconnected to everything else. And fighting is fighting is a short-term solution. You fight because you have to defend yourself. Healing is a long-term solution. There's many great stories of my teachers that were told of their Sifus or members of their family, where somebody was very aggressive and wanted to fight them, and they said, no. You got a back problem. Let me fix it. And they turned around the aggression by actually fixing that person's back. A little bit like the stories of the lion with, you know, a thorn in their paw, and it's sort of similar to that. And it's that whole idea of our goal in life is actually to, you know, like fighting has always been a prominent thing, but healing is the other side of fighting, and fixing people and helping people and actually connecting with people. And so in the Tai Chi, the Bakwa, especially, there's a certain Taoist arts, like what we call fighting drills, are actually sensitivity drills. So a little bit like in Wing Chun, you know, like with the sticky hands and whatnot. The whole idea is actually you're listening. You're listening to that person, and you're listening to where they're tense. You're listening to what they're thinking next and what they're doing. So it's more about, for me, it's more about communication, going into the communication rather than fighting or healing or anything else. It's about, we are all for me, we are all interconnected. We're all part of the same being. We're all part of the same consciousness. And it's about finding ways to connect. And sometimes it's through play fighting, sometimes it's through real fighting, sometimes it's through healing, but our goal is always to find connections, a way to connect.
That is absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome, Sifu. So next question. Shundao, it is, apart from fighting, it is also the healing as well. So Shundao is also its own, is its own style of Qigong?
Yes. So my Sifus, the two main ones were Malay, but he was normally not in certain families. The head son or daughter will take the surname. So he was known as Shun, and his brother's known as Po. And Shun was the statistician and the fighting side, but he knew many other techniques as well. And Po was the healer, but he was he was actually really good, scary fighter. But the Taoist concept is these three M's: the martial, the medical, and the meditational. So their system, which was said to go over 20 generations, the fellow Sifus in their system were statisticians, they were healers, they were fighters, they were all of those interconnected. And so there are different sides to it, and they were very much trained. Shun and Po actually traveled for, I think it was almost 35 years, from the Shaolin, one of the Shaolin temples, because there's actually more than one Shaolin temple in China, not everybody knows, and they would go from one of the Shaolin temples to Udang or Wudang Mountain, the 5 mountains, and so they would learn both the hard style Qigong or hard martial arts, and they would learn the soft or internal martial arts, and they learn the two. So the Shundao I teach is more based a lot of the time on the spiritual side and on the healing side, but there is a fighting side, there is a defense side. I can teach it, I do teach it at certain times, normally to younger students, normally to people that still want to learn the fighting, and it's like cool, but then right, learn to do this, learn to heal, learn to do this, learn to channel your energy, learn to channel your chi. Like fighting's good, but that's only for so long, unless you want to live in a world of war, at some point you need peace. At some point you need spirituality, you need expansion. So you need those other sides too. So yes, I do teach all three, but I sort of tend to lean more towards the healing side of the spiritual side.
I think that's absolutely awesome. Shundao, that Shundao encompasses all three aspects: medical, martial, meditation. That's what you had said. The 3 M's. That's exactly what you had said. That is absolutely awesome. My next question was going to be, what is the Shundao school? I think we just covered that one, definitely. So, you know what, Sifu? I'm going to get down to the second to last question, right? It's a little bit more lofty, I always say. Right? If you could teach, right, the new generation of martial artists / Qigong energetics healer one thing, what would it be?
Never take yourself or anybody else too seriously. The issue we have in the world is things are taken too seriously. We lose context. We or get very aggressive, and somebody gets offended by something you said, and then war breaks out, arguments break out, chaos breaks out. My name, Boggie, means the balance between the chaos and the calmness. So the idea is a lot of the time people think I am crazy on drugs because I'm very silly and very funny, and because don't focus on being too serious. We can take things far too serious and we lose the point. We lose the point of life, and life is about enjoyment, about understanding, about learning. When we were kids, everything was magical, everything was amazing, and we could play with our cardboard box for hours, and our minds would go, and come all these different meditations and different visualizations, and we've taken life so seriously that we feel empty, and then we need to fill it with something, with drugs or sex or this or that. So the long version or the short version of what I just said: never take yourself or anybody else too seriously, and breathe. Breathing's pretty good too.
That is absolutely awesome advice. Absolutely sound. I completely agree with that, sir. Well, Sifu Boggie, I have to thank you very much for the time that we have taken today. But before we go, one last question. How does anyone get in contact with you?
Oh, that's a mystery. Bye. No. You can Sifu, Sifu, Boggie, Boggie. That's pretty much my name on Facebook, or is my name on Facebook. It is my name on YouTube. It is my name on Instagram, though there's a dot, Sifu.Boggie. And that's my name on TikTok. They're the main places that you can find me. And there are lessons, free lessons, because I think it's good to give people understanding and tasters, but I'm very much about people learn more when they're giving something in return. It doesn't have to be money, but when we give something in return, we learn. And so I do have courses and ongoing classes where I teach quite a few of the things that I've studied for the last 41 years. And yes, you can find that on Ko-fi, but if you look for me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, then from there you will see my link tree, and that will take you into the wonderful world of seafood.
Information for Sifu Boggie will definitely be in the description below. Also in the description below, if you need Feiyue Shoes, there's going to be a link down there. Get the latest styles at the best prices, the best deals. Click on the link and get your Feiyue Shoes. Sifu Boggie, my sir, thank you very, very much for your time. I know you're very busy running a business right now as we speak. So I'll get out of your hair.
Well, it's great to be in your hair. You've got very nice hair. So it's very much a pleasure chatting with you, and you take care.
All right. Thank you very much, Sifu Boggie. Bye-bye now.